Alright guys, we're back with another waiver wire video so I can help you find the best and most important players to add to your teams. We have a lot of really good options this week. I'm going to get right into it. First, of course, if you guys aren't already, please subscribe to the channel. Do not forget to drop this video a like. Sound off in the comments any questions you guys have. And then just a quick reminder, channel memberships are open where you guys can ask me personalized questions about your teams, your league, context, trades, anything you want. If you're interested, click that button right down there on your desktop browser. And shout out Prize Picks for sponsoring today's video. Also, as usual, this video, I'm going to have a big list of 5 players I have an in-depth profile about. That's going to be followed by a bunch of different breakout sections that can help you guys depending on what league you're in, whether it be a shallow league, whether it be a deep league, if you want to learn about closers, players to stash, anything. The first player in the big list this week is Peyton Tolley, starting pitcher on the Red Sox. I don't want to get super dramatic here. I don't want to get super hyperbolic. This is a really, really important pickup. This could be one of the most important pickups in fantasy baseball this whole season. Tolley has the repertoire, the stuff, the pedigree to literally be one of the 25 or so best pitchers in fantasy baseball from this point to the end of the year. He really does. I don't want to exaggerate about that. It's going to really come down to whether or not he can stick in this Red Sox rotation, but he's coming off a season debut against the Yankees a few days ago where he struck out 11 batters in 6 innings, went toe-to-toe with Cam Schlettler in a great pitcher's duel, and looked just completely disgusting doing it. He's always had a really explosive four-seam fastball. That's how he got drafted so highly. It's how he became a top prospect last year. It's explosive, rising action, 96, 97 miles per hour with incredible extension from the left side. Not many other left-handed pitchers in baseball can match Tolley's fastball or even get remotely close to it. But in the handful of appearances he made last year in his MLB debut, this was really all he had. That fastball accounted for nearly 2/3 of his total pitches, and again, it was kind of the only thing he was able to rely on. There was just not much consistency with the rest of his arsenal, so again, whenever he got into a jam, it was fastball, fastball, fastball. But now, judging by this first start he made this year, he's come back to the majors as a completely different pitcher. On top of that really nice four-seam fastball, he still has a very good cutter. When he was in AAA this year, that was his primary pitch against right-handed batters. It still looked nice in his start against the Yankees, but took a major backseat because one, that fastball was great, but two, a new sinker that Tolley was showing was really, really nice. That pitch was a huge weapon for him against left-handed batters, picked off a lot of called strikes with it. I'm not sure if the Yankees really expected that new sinker to be such a big part of Tolley's repertoire, but again, caught them off guard, helped him get ahead in the count, and then let his curveball play out. This pitch is nasty from his low arm slot. It kind of moves like sweeperish, but with the curveball grip and intent. It was just diabolical in the start against the Yankees. It forced 7 swings and misses, and he only threw that pitch 15 total times. So 7 times that pitch was whiffed at, and he only threw it 15 times. Also, this thing was just ducking and darting out of the zone. It had a 75% chase rate, which is absolutely ridiculous. Tunneled really nicely off that fastball and his sinker. And this was a pitch that Tolley didn't really look super comfortable with last year. So seeing that, the new sinker, the cutter, the fastball, then also a changeup that he used very sparingly, but he broke off this amazing one here to get out of a jam against Giancarlo Stanton, which again, I think just caught him totally off guard. Didn't expect it at all. Love that pitchability, love that deception, of course love the stuff, love the demeanor on the mound, and he made this start because Sonny Gray just went on the injured list with a hamstring strain. I think Gray is going to be out a month, but then the Red Sox are going to have a decision to make because Tolley is definitely better than Brian Bayo, who's their 5th starter right now. He might even be better than fellow rookie Conley Early, who I also love on this channel. I really don't think there's any way they can take him out of this rotation if he pitches anywhere near his potential. And if he pitches anywhere near his potential and he's in rotation, to me again, top 25 or 30 pitcher rest of the way. But first, a quick word from today's sponsor. Prize Picks is America's #1 sports picks app. And if you guys are still not on Prize Picks, here's why you should be. The app is super simple to use. You just pick more or less on a few player stats, lock in your lineup, and that's it. You're in. There's no complicated strategies, no confusing interfaces, just you, your sports knowledge, and your picks. That's it. I'm looking here at some NBA playoff stats for Sunday, and I'm going back to the well with 2 picks I made this past week. Tyrese Maxey, more than 19.5 points. That smashed last time I picked it. And then Jaylen Brown, more than 1.5 three-pointers made. He only took 2 in his last game. He never takes that few three-pointers. So again, I'm going back to it. I want my law of averages to work its way out. And I also really like Donovan Mitchell, more than 35.5 points, rebounds, and assists to put this Raptors team in a 3-1 hole and let his Cavaliers relax heading back home. Also, make sure you guys are following me on the app so you can see my lineups in real time before I even post them here. The best part, if you're a new user, you can get $50 in lineups just for playing your first $5 lineup. All you have to do is download the Prize Picks app, sign up with code HMA, and you're good to go. And as always, the link for that is right down below in the description. So whether you're in California, Texas, Florida, and of course New York, Prize Picks is available to you as it is in most states. So check it out. Make sure you use code HMA, and please only play if you know you can do so responsibly. Next up on the big list is Carlos Cortez from the Athletics. And this is one I didn't really expect to put in. Cortez was buried in the deep league ads when I started prepping this video when I was doing my work on Friday night and watching games. But boom, first inning, big home run off Nathan Eovaldi. Boom, 5th inning, a second home run off of Nathan Eovaldi. Moonshots from Cortez, who's just playing so well right now, he cannot be ignored. Absolutely raking. You guys see the stats above my head. He also has more walks than strikeouts. The raw power actually looks legit. All the underlying metrics are great. The way he has that quick little swing, gets inside the ball like that home run you guys saw in that color, an inch inside off the play from Eovaldi. Some very special hitting mechanics here for Cortez. With that, his bat to ball ability is amazing. The contact rate's very high. He's always a very productive player in the upper minor leagues, but he's never able to break through. He's kind of positionless. He's a bit undersized. Just a really weird player profile, but one that right now is making him very, very, very productive. Also, his swing decisions are very good. He swings a ton in the zone. He does not chase out of it. Makes tons of contact again, like I said, with that bat to ball ability. And two other very big keys who I think he's a priority add this week in fantasy baseball. Number one, over the A's last 4 games against right-handed pitchers, including Friday night, Cortez has batted third. That's right in the middle of a really talented lineup. That's Kurtz, Langoliers, Cortez, Tyler Soderstrom. That's a great group of guys to be hitting between. And this coming week, the A's are on a homestand. And Cedar Park out in Sacramento is a great place to hit. It's a launching pad. I feel like Cortez can be in for a huge week this week, and I want him on my teams before that happens. Maybe not 10-team leagues, but 12-team leagues, 100%. Next up, we got Chase Dollander, pitcher on the Rockies. And usually we like to avoid Rockies pitchers in fantasy baseball just because half of your starts, just theoretically, if you make half your starts at home, you're kind of unplayable. But I really want to break that rule with Dollander right now because the guy's disgusting so far. He's mostly been working in relief as the bulk guy after an opener and still getting 5-6 innings in an appearance. You guys see the stats above me. He's ripping people to shreds, and the stuff is outrageous, especially with this fastball. Sits 98, 99 miles per hour. He just keeps throwing it in at the leathers, challenging hitters from that low slot, and they can't do anything about it. But I wanted to dig deeper with Dollander. I wanted to try and see if there was anything the Rockies were doing with him specifically to try and mitigate the home road concerns. I wanted to look through his home starts and his road starts to see any discernible pitch mix differences. Didn't find anything significant, at least yet. I'm going to keep an eye on that, and if something there changes, I will tell you guys. But he's kind of leaned into some very weird repertoire stuff that normally I don't like, but for him, it's working right now. Mainly as a right-handed pitcher, he's leaning into throwing more sinkers, which I'll talk about that distinction in a second, against left-handed batters. That's now his second most thrown pitch against them, and leaning into his changeup as a right-handed pitcher against right-handed batters. That's now a legit part of his mix against them. Generally speaking, if you're a righty, you don't really throw your sinker to lefties, and you don't really throw your changeup to righties with the same-handed hitters. Those are kind of taboo. Right now, it's working. We'll see if that sustains. But something weird about that sinker that I want to talk to you guys about is if you look really closely here on Dollander's pitch plot, there's 2 distinct sinkers happening here. There's one that's just moving to his arm side, and one that's moving down with legit sink. I think Dollander right now might be separating a 2-seamer and an actual sinker to go with his 4-seam fastball. And that's why he might be able to throw more of those natural, pure sinkers against the left-handed batters. Because if he's throwing that one that just fades in with the arm side, you run the risk of letting that 2-seam kind of bleed over a left-handed hitter's barrel. Now, if he's just throwing that turbo sinker, he's getting ground balls, maybe trying to tunnel that off of the 4-seam fastball, one going high, one going low. That could be something that can sneak up on guys. Also, his velocity's up a tick across the board. His rookie season ended with an injury. He looks very healthy right now and again, throwing harder. He's also incorporated a new sweeper into his repertoire. He's not throwing it a ton, but that's his put-away pitch against right-handed batters and is forcing nearly a 60% whiff rate against them so far. Again, I said it, it's sacrilege to advocate for any kind of Rockies pitcher, but I really want to break that rule for Dollander right now because this stuff is super good. The results are really great right now. Maybe just stash him on your bench in a 12-team league. Pick and choose your spots. Use him as a streamer. He's going to get the relief pitcher eligibility soon, too, in points-based leagues. He'll be a unicorn there. This stuff right now is just too good to ignore for Dollander. 2 guys left up on the big list this week. First up, it's Miguel Vargas from the White Sox. I'm throwing Vargas up on here because a great member question I got asked this week, and again, let you guys know, if you become channel members, you can ask me personalized questions about your fantasy team. I'll get a response to you as quick as I can. But again, here's this great question here from Dennis Myers, 589. He asked me thoughts on Miguel Vargas with the White Sox. He's hitting under 200, but with 17 hits, 9 of them have been for extra bases, and he's walked 17 times as well. As of right now, he's got 17 walks and 16 strikeouts. Just an early season hot streak or a sneaky breakout? A few years ago, he had some hype in the Dodgers farm. Is this a post-hype breakout? And truthfully, Dennis, when I answered this question for you in the members tab, my main point was that I kind of liked Vargas coming into the season. I thought as a full-time starter on a team, he'd be a good boring compiler, maybe find his way to 20 or so home runs with a good on-base percentage. And it's too early in the season to get rid of those early season premonitions. But then I look deeper into Vargas, and I'm very in this guy to be a huge breakout from now basically through the end of the year. So far this season, he has the second biggest increase in his average bat speed only trailing Cam Smith. And as Smith has dramatically increased his bat speed, he's also dramatically increased his swing length to generate more force as he comes through the zone. Vargas has not done that. He's shortened his swing. Some very genuine strength and power improvements we've seen from Vargas compared to last year. On top of that, he just smacked 3 home runs this week, so I think he's getting more on people's radars. Like Dennis said, he has more walks and strikeouts on the season, or at least he did entering play on Friday. And we're seeing some very, very real growth in his quality of contact metrics. I think he's just getting quite unlucky with his balls in play so far. And I'm going to show you guys a few of these very well-struck balls that Vargas just hasn't been able to get a base hit on. But that's something that evens out over the course of the season. And Vargas has always made great swing decisions, has great plate discipline, uber patience, but right now he's got that zone swing rate at a really good level. The zone contact rate's very high as well. He's now even chasing less. He's swinging less. It's becoming a very difficult at bat for opposing pitchers. This White Sox lineup suddenly isn't that easy to navigate anymore, at least right in the middle of it, the way Colson Montgomery and Munetaka Murakami are hitting, as well as a tough at-bat Vargas has become. There's a huge up arrow of Miguel Vargas right now. I'm very in on him. I'm trying to grab him in every single 10 or 12 team league I can find. Stash him on my bench because I think a lot of good things are coming. Last up on the big list this week is Brandon Sproat, starting pitcher on the Brewers. And I think the fantasy baseball community collectively kind of left Sproat in the dust after his first 2 starts of the year, which was totally fair because he allowed 11 earned runs in 6 2/3 innings through those 2 starts. Then his 3rd start of the season, he couldn't escape the 4th inning against the lowly Nationals. So again, it kind of just felt like it wasn't going to be the moment for Sproat. But over his last 2 starts now, he's gotten 12 innings, allowed 4 runs, struck out 10 batters in the process. And in those starts, it feels like there's been a big jump for him, at least a jump in his comfortability with his brand new color. The Brewers love teaching pitchers colors. The Brewers taught Quinn Priester color last year. That's what kind of got him on that track to becoming a huge breakout. And now in these last 2 starts, Sproat has looked much, much more comfortable throwing it, especially against right-handed batters, something that it's taken him a little bit this season to get accustomed to. Again, that's a new pitch for him. Even already to this point in the season, that's his most thrown pitch against lefties, and clearly is a very, very big emphasis by them with him and that pitch. And it is very important to Sproat's development and his chance to be an effective major league starter because he doesn't really have a great fastball. He throws at 97 miles per hour, but he doesn't really know how to command it and doesn't have a very good shape, so it's not going to miss bats in the zone if he can't hit a spot with it. So what this color does is allow him to have something else he's throwing hard in his repertoire to just not let right-handed, I guess, or left-handed batters be able to just completely know where a fastball's coming in and get a barrel on it. And after that not-so-good four-seamer and this new color, the repertoire is deep. He has a nice sinker. He has a really good sweeper, a really good curveball, great feel for spin with Sproat. And I can really see him settling in, finding a groove with this Brewers team, supported by a quality lineup, supported by great defense, and an organization that has a good track record of the last few years of taking guys with some similar traits to Sproat, who have a really good affinity for spin, who now learn a color to kind of tie their repertoire together and just have a great run of success. I like Sproat a lot like Tobias Myers 2 years ago and Quinn Priester last year, just to settle into this rotation, and you're going to look up in September and be like, does Brandon Sproat have a 3.6 ERA? That'll be very valuable in every 12-team league. All right, now that's the end of the big list, but like I told you guys at the top, now we're going to have a bunch of breakout sections to help you based on which league type you're in. First up, players who are not rostered enough in shallow leagues. I'm using rostership rate here from ESPN League, starting off with Ranger Suarez, under 70% rostered. I think a lot of people got a little spooked, maybe by watching this channel, from Ranger Suarez's really bad spring training and those bad first couple starts with the Red Sox. He settled in nicely recently. He's a very good pitcher with a very long track record. We're not really worried about that contract till we get, 3-4 years into it. Right now, Ranger Suarez is a quality, easy top 50 pitcher in fantasy baseball. Mike Soroka's made great strides this year, 57% roster. The curve is nice. Still liking to see what the rest of the repertoire can do, but he's looked great this year. I think 57% is too low. 51% is way too low for my dog, Braxton Ashcraft. Hopefully, you guys are all part of that 51% if you've been watching these videos. The guy's a beast. Max Muncy, 47%, also way too low. Since he got glasses last May, he's been one of the 10 best hitters in baseball. Just get him on your teams. He's too good right now. I know he sits against lefties, but he's too good. Shout out Connor Griffin. Happy birthday to Connor Griffin. 20th birthday on Friday night. First home of his career. 3 hits, stolen base as well. The hot streak coming for Connor Griffin. 45% is obscenely low. He should be rostered at 8-team leagues, truthfully. Kyle Stowers, 45%. Was one of the best hitters in the league last year. I know he got injured to start the season, but he's going to get hot. At least maybe not like he did last year, but under 50% of leagues in ESPN's way too low. Landon Rupp, 42%. I've been trying to shoehorn Landon Rupp into a video, but I feel like he's kind of too widely known at this point to be in one of these waiver wire videos, so I'm going to throw him into this not roster enough section. I think he's a really good pitcher. Mickey Moniak's ripping the cover off the ball, 33% for any home games in a week. He should be on a roster in 12-team leagues. Jack Caglione then and Cam Smith, 2 guys, 27%, who have lots of potential, game-breaking potential through the end of the season. Just using game theory, these are guys you should be stashing on your bench because if they get hot, they can be monsters. Next up, we have the closer report, and this has been one of the worst years for closers I can ever remember in like 24 years of playing fantasy baseball now. Yes, I was playing fantasy baseball when I was 6 years old because I'm a freak, I'm sick in the head, but big one with Raisel Iglesias going on the injured list. Robert Suarez now looks like a true tier 1 inner circle closer. And with Edwin Diaz going on the injured list, like I alluded to last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever that was, the Dodgers gave first save chances to Blake Treinen and Alex Vesia, but now recently, Tanner Scott came in and got a save chance. Scott has the best stuff. Scott would be the highest potential closer from that group. And the fact that he is getting save chances, he really vaults to the top of the closer list for me. Then you got Louis Varland on the Blue Jays. They're finally not going to be using Jeff Hoffman in save situations. Can't believe it took that long. Varland is the best reliever in their bullpen, but they say they're going to spread it around with the committee. I want Varland in leagues right now, but I would not be surprised if him, Tyler Rogers, possibly Yimi Garcia was getting save chances when he come off the injured list. I trust them when they say they're going to spread it around, even though Varland should be the top guy. Quick edit, just realized I'm recording this video really late in Friday night, so I wanted to catch all the Friday games, and Tanner Scott came into a tie game against the Cubs in the 9th inning and totally blew it, gave up 2 earned runs. So I don't know who's getting the next save chance for the Dodgers, but I guess bear that in mind. Then we have Ryan Walker. I don't love his stuff. I don't love his profile, but he's getting saves in the Giants, so that could be valuable. Caleb Thielbar looked like he was going to cruise to being the Cubs' primary closer without Daniel Palencia. Then he blew a save. Then he wound up with a hamstring strain. So I don't know who's going to save games for them. I guess it will be Ben Brown, but they have really been committed to using him as a multi-inning weapon. Maybe it's Phil Maton, his 89-mile-an-hour fastball. I really don't know. Despite the fact that team's very good, maybe that's a bullpen I'm avoiding. Corbin Martin actually just got to save for them on Friday night. I look at their box score now. I don't like Corbin Martin's stuff at all. Corbin Martin's going to get lit up. He's a guy that's going to get blasted as a closer. But if you're desperate for a save, I guess why not? Then we have a really weird situation brewing with the Mets. Well, it's not a weird situation. Devin Williams just sucks right now. He cannot get anybody out. Then you had an even more awkward situation where Thursday night they have a save opportunity. Devin Williams starts coming in from the bullpen. His entrance music starts playing. The lights start flashing. But Huascar Brazoban, who finished the 8th inning, went out to the mound. And then Devin Williams, who started coming out of the bullpen, then went back into the bullpen. And then Huascar Brazoban got one out. And Devin Williams came on the field. And Devin Williams almost blew a 3-run lead in the 9th inning. Just complete mess right now. I do like Luke Weaver, though, probably to get the next save chance for the Mets. And then shout out to Enyel De Los Santos. The Astros have been reeling so far. Everyone's dropping like flies in their bullpen and their rotation. But he's steady things to back. He's picked up 3 saves over the last week and a half, and I think he's just kind of a solid relief pitcher. Again, not great, not a great situation, but he's a very solid relief pitcher in a closer world right now that is total chaos. Next up is the stash list, where I'm going to tell you guys about either players in the upper minors or guys coming back from injuries that maybe you should consider stashing on your bench. First one, this is a weird one. I was going to put these guys in the big list, but I kind of thought they fit better here. J.R. Ritchie, Didier Fuentes. I don't know what the Braves are doing. Fuentes came back from the minor leagues, had a short start on Wednesday. Ritchie came up. He had a really good long start on Thursday. Feels like these two guys are right now openly in competition for one rotation spot with the Braves, where Fuentes, I think, has better stuff. He forced way more swings and misses on Wednesday against the Nationals, but he could only go 3 innings. He was inefficient. Ritchie didn't force many swings and misses. He kind of hides a fastball with some really good breaking stuff and pretty good command. He went 7 innings in his debut against the Nationals. I think one of these guys going to win out. I think probably in the near term, it might be Ritchie. I think I do still like Fuentes more, but also Spencer Strider's back from injury next week, so it all might be moot. Then we have one of the best starting pitchers left in the minor leagues right now, Robbie Snelling on the Marlins. He's just torching AAA to start the season. But I think Braxton Garrett is going to get the first look for them when they actually call a pitcher from the minor league. So I think we might still be waiting on Snelling. Then some really nice hitters down there. Colt Emerson, Max Clark, and Bryce Eldridge. Emerson, if I had to bet, would be the guy that comes up first. And also, if I had to bet, would be the guy probably the best fantasy baseball potential this year, I guess. I don't really know. I like Eldridge's power, but I like Max Clark to have good power, good contact, good speed, good defense. I like them all. We'll see which one comes up first. But just because Emerson has that contract, I think it's going to be him. I think Christian Scott came up this week, had like the weirdest start ever for the Mets. He walked 5 guys in an inning in 2/3, 1/3, whatever it was, didn't allow a hit, went back to the minor leagues. He'll be back up soon. I don't want people to get really scared about that start. Stuff was really good. Just looked like he was really overthrowing. Heart was beating really fast. Couldn't find the strike zone with his fastball. Just probably needs a deep breath, and he'll come back and be an effective starting pitcher. And then some injured guys right here. Justin Steele continues to work back from Tommy John surgery. Carlos Rodon just made his first rehab start for the Yankees. And Zach Wheeler is back on Saturday night. But this is just a caution when you're doing injury stashes in general. Zach Wheeler was sitting like 91 to 93 miles per hour with his fastball. He had a 6 ERA between AA and AAA in that rehab stint. Very curious to see how he looks this weekend coming off the thoracic outlet syndrome. It's not like the most serious thoracic outlet syndrome, the one that ruined Chris Carpenter and Matt Harvey and Steven Strasburg, but it's still a thoracic outlet syndrome. It's something that was a really, really serious surgery and recovery, one that Wheeler may still be shaking the rust off from. Now we have the deep league ads. First up, big one this week, easy, Steven Matz. coming off some not so good outings after a nice start to the season. He's a 2-start week against the Guardians and the Giants. That's a great time to put Steven Matz on your team and try to shoehorn him into a starting lineup this week if you need some volume. Then I like Casey Mize, what he's done so far this year. He's probably a big list guy in the next few weeks. I like Justin Robleski a lot, but I wish he would just strike somebody out because I really can't make a great compelling case for him right now without any swing and miss in his game. I still have Colt Keith on this list. He's hitting great. The bat speed's up. He's hitting third all the time. I love it, but still not playing against lefties and still not finding any actual power production this year. He still literally has 0 home runs. Advocate for him anything more in the deep league ad. Then we got my guy Angel Martinez. 2 more home runs on Friday. My boy's still raking. Ron Mauricio up for the Mets, filling in for Francisco Lindor at shortstop. Lots of power, lots of speed. Always really had struggles to actually put it together. He's swinging a little better right now. The approach looks a little nice, so maybe, again, deep league ad. I like Sam Antonacci a lot on the White Sox. He doesn't have a lot of good stats yet. He's doing a lot of things under the hood that are fun. He's probably going to be a guy who I profile on the big list next week. Then some fun journeyman middle infielders. Ildemaro Vargas, Jeremiah Jackson still hitting very well. Jesus Sanchez hitting cleanup against right-handed pitchers on the Blue Jays. Looks really good. Mo Ballesteros. Whew. Mo Ballesteros is one of the most underrated hitters in baseball right now. He just will never, ever face a lefty pitcher. But whenever this guy's on the field, he rakes. He probably should have been the big list, but he kind of deserves it. Dalton Rushing seems like kind of not a nice guy on the field, but every time he actually does play, he rakes. So a very deep league, a 2-catcher league, you probably want to consider him. Carson Bench on the Mets is starting to turn a corner. I think I let some of my Mets fandom, angst, and frustration boil over into some of this content over the last few weeks. I was like, drop Bench. Taking some good at-bats, finally starting to pull the ball, stealing tons of bases, growing confidence. I've liked Oswald Peraza too in the Angels this year. Some growing power metrics, playing every single day. Eligible at second and third base in most leagues. Fun chess piece in the deep league. And I said it before, the A's have a homestand this week. Southern Park is like Coors Field light. If you can shoehorn Max Muncy, A's Max Muncy, Jeff McNeil, if Jacob Wilson is on your wire in a shallow league, just to stream an A's hitter this week, it's a good time to do it. Now, giving you guys tons of players to add, I have to give you some to drop. First up, sad about this, my guy Mick Abel went on the injured list Monday afternoon right after a huge profile about him on this series last week. It was sad, but looks like he's going to be out a while, so definitely don't worry about holding him. Jeff Hoffman, Edwin Diaz, I alluded to them in the closer report. Hoffman's not the closer anymore. Diaz looks like he's going to be out a while with loose bodies in his elbow. Get him out of here. Brenton Doyle, I don't know why. I think people still roster Brenton Doyle, but I don't think he's very good. Reynaldo Lopez and Michael Wacha. 2 pitchers right now who are outrunning, not having very good stuff, not having great command, and seemingly going to get crushed sooner rather than later, so be ready for those cherry bombs. Shout out Nick Pollock. Then Aaron Nola. I'm getting a lot of questions about Aaron Nola recently, and I do think he's kind of fallen down the line a little bit. I don't think he's a guy that's a must roster in a 12-team league anymore. I think you should look at Aaron Nola's next few starts. His next one, I believe, is against the Braves. I actually think that's the day his video is coming out, but still. If you look at a guy like Aaron Nola and you're not going to start him against tough matchups, you probably don't even need to have him on your team if you think there's another really good player to add instead of him. But if it's like Nola versus Chase Dollander, that's a really difficult. That's a tough call. That's a tough call, honestly, right now. Man, I'm doing this live on the camera. I think I might even still hold Nola, but really, if I was making a decision about pitchers like that, I would literally take their schedules next to each other, compare their next 4 matchups, see who I'd rather have on my team because of that. Then you got a couple pitchers who I think probably are 10-team dropper right now. Definitely Shane Baz. Hand up on that one. I was here for the Shane Baz breakout. Maybe it happens later this season, but he looks dreadful so far this season. Nick Pivetta with a flexor strain. He's going to be out months. Lance McCullers has a really bad schedule coming up. Be fine to drop him. Owen Casey, I don't think has a hit since I started bragging about taking a victory lap at how good he was the first 2 weeks of the season. My bad on that one. And I'll say it again. Alec Boehm, Bryson Stott. Boehm, especially right now, is like the worst hitter on earth. He's the worst qualified hitter in baseball by a good margin. These guys should not be on any fantasy baseball rosters anymore. But thank you guys so much. Another great waiver wire video in the books. I recorded this one at 1 o'clock in the morning, so I wanted to wait for all the Friday night games to end to try something new. I don't know if I'm able to do this going forward. I'm dead. I'm so tired right now. But I hate recording this waiver video on Friday afternoon and having a full night of Friday games happen and not be able to tell you guys that most current information. But maybe I'll try to find another way to work this out, schedule this for myself. But you guys are going to get this Saturday or Sunday. Get your waivers ready for the weekend. And all members, remember, personalized advice by me. But thank you so much. I'll see you next time.